Islam and peace and blessings. It's early this morning. The old man Pike gotta come get me. We gotta go deal with these politicians. I'm gonna go live on TikTok when I deal with these politicians about 10 a.m. It's only 7 now. What I want to talk about is this. Now everybody getting nervous because Trump talking about that insurrection clause. Look, the reason I get on here and teach everybody the law, right, is because I'm not no licensed attorney. I'm statutorily authorized to teach science, religion, politics, civics, and general education internationally. My Elite Law Facebook page, I got 2 Facebook pages. My Elite Law Facebook page is listed on Law Firms One. You can go look it up. It's an international legal listing. That's why I be on here teaching like that. I can give out licenses to teach law. I'm not licensed. I can give them out. With this insurrection clause, once again, the Constitution for the United States of America, because that's what it's properly called, is one of the greatest documents ever written. Now listen to this. I told y'all in one of my other videos, right? Under the Constitution, you're guaranteed a Republican form of government. Every state, even the tribes, because they're states under the Constitution for the United States of America. Republican form of government. There is no democratic government. So if you got whole states saying this is a democratic state, that's an insurrection. That's actually civil war. Remember, the Civil War was the slave owners in the South didn't want to free their slaves. They rebelled against the national government. So they lost their citizenship. They lost their nationality. So that's when the 14th Amendment and all that came in for them. The Negro, black, and color, after slavery was abolished, didn't know to proclaim their nationality and citizenship. So they was automatically put under the 14th Amendment also. But the 14th Amendment was for the slave owners in the South that rebelled against the national government. See, that's basically what they're doing now. If you're saying you're a democratic state, you're outside of the Constitution for the United States of America. And that is an insurrection. Trump know what he's doing. I told y'all, whoever his constitutional lawyers is, they some good lawyers now. Because they took civics out of school. It's like the governors in the states don't even understand civics. When they took civics out of school, they messed up everybody now. Because that Constitution is plain and simple. What are you saying? You're a democratic state? Yeah, that is an insurrection because there's no such thing under the law. Law governs all events, not, well, I feel like this, so I'm going to just do this. No, we signed up for this. Constitution for the United States of America. This is what we the people created, and this is what we said. So if you're saying you're not under the Constitution for the United States of America, but you operating as a government over, that is insurrection. And he's not doing nothing wrong. Because there's no such thing as a democratic state. Democracy is not mentioned nowhere in any founding document that legitimizes this government. Not even the Pledge of Allegiance. And then they don't understand civil war. Okay, listen to this. I'm talking to the federal prison. I'm about to teach y'all a law lesson. For free. And I'm not going to keep teaching y'all for free. Now listen to this. If your indictment says United States of America versus, just say, Josh Walden, that's a civil war. Because they're saying you as a citizen are rebelling against the national government. See, when in the federal court, when they say all actions are civil actions, they are. And then even when your lawyer goes in there, they're going to be like, he argues such and such. You're carrying on a civil war. It's just not physical. They made it on paper, verbal, so you can't see what's really going on. If you got an indictment that says United States of America versus you are in a civil war on paper legally. And every time you argue and use that word argue, you're carrying on a civil war. You got to think warrant. Just split the word of war and rent. It's a war of words. They changed the civil war that was going on to a civil war of words on paper. And then they still trick y'all. Because when y'all do y'all 2255s, y'all 2241s, you're going from civil to criminal, correct? Look up the definition of civil. It means of or relating to the state. or its citizenry. So when you're doing 2255s, 2241, 60Bs, all these civil suits, right? You're supposed to be arguing the law of the state in which the court sets, not federal law. They have y'all in there filing civil suits, arguing federal law. No, just look up the definition of civil. And then look up that 1935 Supreme Court case, Erie Railroad versus Tompkins. Erie Railroad versus Tompkins. It specifically states there is no such thing as federal common law because all federal courts are bound by the law of the state in which it sits. When you're doing civil suits in federal court, you argue the law of the state in which the federal court is sitting that you're trying to get released from. It's that simple. You don't argue federal law on a civil suit. But boy, they be tricking y'all. Then y'all got these silly public defenders that don't know nothing. Look, I wrote a legal treatise one day, right, for Oregon State University. I broke the whole legal system down. Man, these people sent me a letter back and said, everything you put in here is correct. But they don't teach us this in law school. They just teach us procedure. So you know me, I sent the letter back. I said, so you telling me y'all pay them thousands of dollars just to learn procedure? Hell no. Hell no, because you can always get around procedure because procedure is not substantive law. Substantive law is that Constitution for the United States of America. And everything made in accordance thereof. That's what Article 6 says. Start just looking up words, studying yourself. If you want a law class, let me know. Because I think almost whole United States need a law class. And then y'all need to start signing petitions for them to put civics back in schools. Them taking civics out of schools, listen. Any governor of any of these states that's saying they're a democratic state does not know civics. They have no idea about civics. How can you be a law enforcement officer, a public official that's supposed to enforce the law, and you do not know the law yourself? None of this makes sense to me. Because it's impossible for them to know the law unless they just sending everybody out. They know Trump can use that insurrection clause. Y'all saying y'all a democratic state. Y'all not Republican. Okay, y'all are outside the constitutional fold. That's civil war. And it's legal. Trump's not wrong. But I'll see y'all again about 10. Peace and blessings.